said that residents of Ibadan, the Oyo state capital, this morning trooped out in their numbers to protest the rising economic hardship being experienced in the country. Protesters were sighted around the Mokola area of the city, carrying placards with various inscriptions. All right, let's take it down to Ibadan and quickly go see some of the videos making the rounds on the Nigerian social media space. We'll be back. Okay, so that is how it's going down in Ibadan at the moment. And let's not also forget that tanker drivers are also insisting on nationwide strike. Plus, let's not forget the labor unions, I beg your pardon, that's the NLC, TUC, are also thinking of grinding the country to a halt over the rising cost of living and insecurity. In fact, they've given out next week, Tuesday, as an ultimatum to the federal government if something is not done quickly. Plus, we'll come back and talk about the 1 million naira minimum wage, which they have backtracked on, but we'll talk about that as we proceed. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about the protests going on in Ibadan. Very
unfortunate, very unfortunate. The people are not pretending. We all live here. This is our reality, the hardship. And each time I encounter these things, my bought a loaf of bread for 1,350, and in less than 2 minutes, he finished the bread, and he was still hungry. Name that food or any item that is saved. None. Even Gary, we they say if you don't have anything at all, you will sow Gary. It is not even affordable now. One piece of egg going for 300 naira. I mean, you want to ask yourself, are we importing eggs with dollar? But the man selling the egg is selling that high because he's looking at the replacement cost. Okay? Now, he must have bought from someone who's also spending more money to feed the birds and also to move the eggs of the farm to the city.
From point A to point B.
All of these things, they are connected. I call it round robin effect. Unfortunately, government is not doing enough. Let me not say they're not doing anything. They are not doing enough to address these concerns. Before, we used to joke and say we do 011, 010, but the reality of 000 is on some people now. And very painfully, the Minister of Defense, Minister of State for Defense, said people should not talk.
The Defense Minister,
We should not talk. Why shouldn't we talk? Are we slaves? Can't we express ourselves, express our pains? If we have to have been getting it right, we will have been singing.
Let me clarify that very quickly so that we don't get into trouble. The Defense Minister didn't say you can't talk. He's just saying you cannot say derogatory things, castigate the Tinubu's government. Let me just put that clarity out there.
Who decides what is derogatory? My pain is not your pain.
Yes.
We are wearing different shoes. So the way it's hitting me is the way I will express myself. Have we lost the right to express our pains? That's not right. This is not military rule. I mean, that should never have been said at all.
All right, thank you, Are. I want us to buttress on what you said earlier, which is the fact that if some food items that are produced locally are also affected by this, hike in prices, you don't necessarily import those using the dollar. So why are the prices going up? Let's not forget very quickly also that the federal government recently also accused some people of hoarding food items and all of that. All right, so what exactly is going on? Should we put all the blames at the doorstep of the government? We also the followers, don't we have a share of the blame?
Well, our economy is so import oriented that even the so-called manufactured goods in Nigeria have some foreign components. Supposedly they are made in Nigeria, but there are certain things that you buy from overseas to help in the process of production. And then the cost of transportation went up. So those that buy feed, some of the feeds, the fertilizer and all that come with production of feed, will affect the poultry industry. And that increase in cost would naturally be translated to the consumers. So it's an overall effect. It's you can't separate one from the other. Yeah. So once something goes, there's an Igbo saying that if one finger gets soiled by oil, it affects all of them. That's the same thing in economics. The multiplier effect of these different factors. That's what we're feeling. Hoarding is a reaction to scarcity. So if there's so much enough goods or more than enough in circulation, why would people hoard? The thing is that the country, people are suffering. The suffering is evident, the suffering is obvious, the suffering is palpable. Everybody can see it, everybody knows it. Even at the rate people ask you for money, beg you for money on the street, or friends call you to ask for money. And you see some of your friends, just from their looks, you know that they are feeling the pangs of hunger, the pangs of poverty. They don't have to tell you that things have gone wrong. You can just feel it.
You can tell.
You can tell, yeah. The important thing is that people are protesting. Free speech is the jewel of democracy. And there can be no democracy without freedom of expression. And in the past, Nigerians suffered without saying a word. The Christians will say a closed mouth is a closed heaven. Even God wants you to talk. Jesus said a man with the issue of palsy. He knew he has been there for 38 years, and he asked the man, do you want to be healed? What a redundant question. But he wants man to verbalize it. So that verbalization of our problems is extremely important. And the thing is that power is hypnotic. The average man in power loses touch with reality and has so much power to get his way, and is tempted by the sirens of life. So it's good to continue repeatedly to remind him, oh God, this is the reality. Oh God, despite your powers, despite all you think you have, you're still a human being. You're not in any way better than that gotten destitute at the economic ladder, at the bottom of the economic ladder, sleeping under the bridge. You're just like any one of them. So it's good we are protesting. Talking about using derogatory words, that's the arrogance of the power elite.
That's not actually part of the conversation. I was just making
okay.
Because I don't say I was waiting for that.
Since you made a point of it, let me also make a point of it.
Okay.
So you can't tell people how to protest. Yes. You cannot punch me in the face and tell me about the tone of my cry. I can choose to cry anyhow I want. But bottom line is that you have punched me in the face. People are suffering, people are hungry. That's why they're protesting. To now tell them how to tailor their protest or their words to sound good in your ears and in the ears of the power elite, I think it's arrogant. I think it's wrong.
Can we just remind these people that they are our servants, not our bosses? We the people, they are the organ. They are there to serve us,
Yes.
not to lord it over us. So if you cannot take the heat, leave the
Stay out
kitchen.
of the kitchen.
All right, so as the protest continues in Ibadan and other states also saying they might join in because of economic hardship in the country, there is that recurring question of how much protest has actually brought us, in the past. All the protests we have protested, and all of that, has it done any good for the Nigerian people? We'll be talking about, plus we were bringing in labor, who are also on the one hand looking at protesting next week, Tuesday, over insecurity and the rising cost of living.